Welcome into the Bama Tailgate Show. I'm Brett Elmore. Mick Gillispie going to be joining us here in just a few minutes as we do have some breaking news on the situation with Mark Sears returning to the University of Alabama. John Rothstein he's the insider in college basketball, CBS Sports, reporting along with Jonathan Giovanni of Draft Express that Alabama's Mark Sears will withdraw from the 2024 NBA draft. He has told ESPN this is a huge win for Coach Nate Oates, returning his All-American point guard who led the Crimson Tide to the Final Four. So we will start getting reaction from you guys. Roll Tide, everybody. Roll Tide, Bruce. Welcome into the show. And welcome in everyone as big news. Mark Sears returning to the capstone, returning to Alabama. We're waiting on Mick Gillispie to join us as well to share the big news. And yes, Big Elmo coming back to Alabama as well. But this just breaking just literally 2 minutes ago that Mark Sears will return to the University of Alabama. And this is just a huge win for Nate Oates. Huge win for Tuscaloosa, the University of Alabama. This pretty much locks up that Alabama could very well be the number one team in the preseason heading into the upcoming season. Already a stacked roster with Sears coming back. The sky's the limit for this Alabama team. Roll Tide, we'll get Mick Gillispie on in just a few minutes, but once again, just about 3 minutes ago, the big announcement as Mark Sears, according to ESPN, will withdraw from the 2024 NBA draft and return to the Crimson Tide. Led the Crimson Tide to the Final Four, and we don't have any indication from his counterpart, Stevenson, yet. But Sears told ESPN, I got good feedback from the NBA, but I could still get better in a few areas. He also went on to say, I want to show I am a dog on defense next season, continue to bring vocal leadership and work on my body and get in to better shape. Now, here's the key thing, and this is something that I was told a couple of weeks ago. NIL has changed basketball, and this is coming from Sears. This is a quote, and NBA teams told me that age isn't a factor in today's game, so I was comfortable coming back to try and bring home a national championship to Alabama. Mick Gillispie, I believe, is here with us now, and he will be jumping in on the live stream. And
Roll Tide, baby.
Hey, high five, a little virtual high five, my friend.
Oh, I'm so glad, man. Blitz, Bama, Blitz, right?
Yeah.
Man, how about this? We'd heard that he was going to be coming back, but, he's a great basketball player. He's such a difference maker for the team. He's the face of the franchise, baby. And so having him come back is going to be absolutely huge for Alabama. I'm so excited. We've been waiting all day, and you've been by the computer refreshing, waiting to say that he was coming back, and guess what? He's coming back. So, man, great job jumping on this, and Roll Tide to all you guys out there as well. I mean, it's a great feeling when you know that you got your star player that took you to the championship, to the Final Four anyway last year, coming back. Run it back, baby.
Run it back, baby. This is great news. I mean, and like we said, we haven't heard about Stevenson yet. We'll have that, of course, coming up. But this was the biggest news, really, of the day. At least in the second part of the day, we kept seeing people either going to the draft or withdrawing, And as time went on here, Mick, everyone, and Mark Sears was trending on X about 30 minutes before, because it's so many people were wanting to know, is Mark Sears going back to Alabama or is he going to the NBA? And finally, we get that news that he's coming back.
Yeah, that means his mom's coming back too. She's become a fan, reaching the cookie jar. I mean, a fan favorite, for Alabama. I think that Mark Sears and mom could be the next Donovan McNabb and mom for Campbell's Soup, right? If that was an NIL deal. He's just great. I mean, the way that he is able to lead the team, the fact that he's a scorer, a distributor. Last year he ended up not just leading Alabama to the Final Four, but he averaged 21.5 points and 4+ rebounds, 4+ assists. In the tournament, remember, he was playing like every minute of every game. Yeah. He's going to have better defensive players around him. Alabama went to the Final Four last year, but it was probably Nate Oates' third best team that he's had at Alabama. They just got hot at the right time. So now he's going to have all these other big-time talents around him. If Jaron Stevenson comes back, which, I'm not sure if he is or he isn't, but this is the guy that Alabama needed right here, just because of the fact that everything goes through him. He's the engine of Alabama basketball, and it's just such a big deal to the program, to everything that Alabama has built and what they want to accomplish. They have a chance to win a national championship, and that's not just talk, man. That is the real deal.
Yeah, it's reality here. Of course, this guy, second team All-American, first team All-SEC, and he was the engine to this very high-paced and very potent offense that Coach Nate Oates runs. But another quote that he gave to ESPN in talking, he says, I've gotten better every year, and next season won't be any different. I got a taste of the Final Four, and now I want to finish it off and bring it home.
Yeah, baby.
And I love that. And he got some really good advice through this whole combine process. So this is something, I was talking about before you jumped on. He got great feedback from the NBA, but he had some things to work on. And in the world of NIL, age, the NBA told him, age is not a factor in today's game. So he was comfortable to come back, get him some NIL money, and bring home, hopefully, a national championship to Alabama. So, just big news and a huge boost for Coach Nate Oates. That guy's got to be celebrating right now.
Yeah, I mean, word on the street was that they thought he was coming back.
Yeah, and an early prediction on Bama's starting five: Aiden Holloway, Mark Sears. Think about this: Latrell Wrightsell, Grant Nelson, and Cliff Omari. Could you imagine that five on the floor?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, it's like even the depth down the roster. This is a team that is going to play better defense. I think that was an area where Alabama was definitely trying to improve. You'll see them play better defense. That's exciting, and I'm really excited, man. I mean, I don't remember ever thinking that this was a possibility that Alabama could legitimately go into the season as, even the team that was number one with Brandon Miller. I always felt like that team had some holes. They played good basketball. They were really good, but they really didn't have the experience of going to the Final Four under their belt. This team has enough guys that are coming back from that accomplished team, and then the pieces that they're adding, where I feel like they legitimately have a chance to make an incredible run here.
Yeah, I do too. This is probably going to be a number one team going into the season. I don't see any reason why they won't be number one. At the start of the season. Huge news, man. This is great, and I'm glad we got it here on a Wednesday afternoon. And because let me tell you something, I was sitting here and literally I was working on that Pearl River Resort hit on that machine, baby. I was just hitting that thing just to see if I could come up with some money. And boom, there it was. But yeah. And I love Sam's comment. They've got enough NIL money for Sears and me. Come on.
That's right. That's
Put
right.
me in, man. Put me in.
No, I'm with you on that. We just, I was trying to shake the trees today, talking to my sources. I wanted to know when this was coming out. And we wasn't really sure if it was going to be something that we were going to find out about today or tomorrow. But what I was being told is expect him to come back. But until it becomes official, you know what I'm saying? It's like, oh man, do you run with that? And then he goes to the NBA. But I mean, I'll tell you what, man, I'm just excited, just as an Alabama fan, just as an Alabama hoops fan, to know that this dude's coming back, man. And now you got a team that legitimately could run the tables in the tournament. They got a taste of the Final Four last year. The only team that could have beat them is the team they lost to. And it's like all of a sudden you look around and you're like, man, we got what it takes to get this done. Nate Oates continues to talk about winning a championship. And I think that's a part of it as well. And I think that one of the reasons why is that they absolutely play a tough schedule, man. They don't run from anyone. They play against the toughest teams in the non-conference schedule. And, and now, I mean, you're looking around and you're like, okay, bring it on. Let's see what we got. And that includes Purdue and Illinois and Creighton. And, there's some teams on here, man.
Yeah. They do not, they don't care. They're going to play anyone. And that just makes them better come March. I mean, you may get out of the pre-holiday schedule a little banged up with a few losses, but just as well as I do, it's how you play in March. And I think that schedule they played last year is what got them ready for that Final Four run. I'm a firm believer in your scheduling and helping you. And that's aside from having to go through the gauntlet of the SEC, Mick.
Yeah. Yep.
So they've got a strong schedule, a very strong basketball team. Mark Sears is coming back. And, buddy, I tell you what, I haven't been more excited about basketball than I am now.
The funny thing is that Bama plays Kentucky at home and on the road, right? They're one of the teams, them and Auburn. And I think the other one might be Mississippi State, but I'm not sure. It's off the top of my head. But there's probably a lot of programs that are like, why would we want to play Kentucky when you can play all these other schools home and on the road? But I know with Nate Oates in Alabama, even though they got shelled by him last year down in Lexington, they love the challenge of playing those marquee games. They embrace the marquee battles, like think about all of the great games that they've played. How about the 2 wins over North Carolina that they've had recently, right? Including last year in the tournament, right?
We've owned North Carolina, and not only on the floor, but in recruiting.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's like for this guy to come to Alabama where we were a marginal at best basketball program and turn it into what's going on right now is unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. I mean, and look, I'm an optimistic Alabama fan, guys. It's not like I'm going, hey, you know what? We didn't have a chance. But I remember talking to Fluffopotamus, the late great, about Nate Oates and I said, well, I like Avery Johnson. See, he's a nice guy, and the program seemed to be going in the right direction. Maybe we have a chance to, get to the tournament. And then he's like, yeah, but this Nate Oates is going to be good. And then all of a sudden it's turned into this. I almost feel like the angel of that is Fluffopotamus is just circling over top of this program and shining the light of heaven down on us because, this is, I mean, really, it's just unbelievable. And that is a shout out to my buddy. I think anybody that knew the guy loved him. And if you don't know who I'm talking about, he was the student that wore the coats and the hard hat, the sport coats and kind of, probably about, like a big Elmo type guy. And he'd get out there and, and do his thing.
That's right. And uh, well, I don't know really how to respond to that, but okay.
I'm just kidding. I'm not kidding.
You're not kidding. Thanks, Mick. I appreciate that. No, I could do my thing too. And hey, that's a compliment to be compared to him.
Yeah.
But also, Mick, let's talk about too something that the SEC meetings are going on down south, and some news that came out today concerning basketball. Greg Byrne, he didn't reveal anything, but the message was clear. Be on the lookout. Something big's coming here in the next few weeks about Alabama basketball. And what could that be?
It's got to be a new arena. I mean, it's the time. The time is now. And Greg's one of the best in the business, man. I mean, he just gets it done. I can't say anything bad about him other than, you know what, it's been tough, but the economy hasn't gone well. And building prices have been skyrocketing, over the last 4 years. And we're 3 and change, right? So you got to get it. You got to really dig in to do these projects. But Alabama basketball deserves it. The community deserves it. I mean, other than maybe hiring a women's basketball coach that's equivalent to Nate Oates, I think that's got to be.
I don't think that's the news that he was talking about.
Well, look, the funny thing is that women's basketball. Women's basketball is taking off right now, man. People are so interested in it, and it's and look, that is not right-wing politics. Inflation rates are really high. Go look at them. I mean, it's been crazy. I didn't mention anybody. I didn't mention any politicians' names. The interest rates are high right now. They're as high as they've been. And go look at your prices of eggs and milk. I mean, that's just the bottom line. So I see that in the comment section. That is not directed at Joe Biden. That's just the bottom line right now. But and that's what. And honestly, JM, that's why they didn't get it built. That's the truth. It's because that the price of building when they had put down the game plan for it, got so high so fast that you couldn't really build anything. You had to go back to the starting lineup, and and they really didn't have a game plan to come up with all the excess. So now they've got to figure out how to do it. And so, so hopefully, they get this job done, because I think it would be great to get this arena built.
Yeah, I do too. We need it, and we need it bad. So maybe here in the next few weeks, we'll have, some news on that. But as for now, the big news is Mark Sears is coming back to Alabama.
And look, I've never heard people more interested in women's basketball than right now. I mean, I'm serious. People are, because of the rivalry that LSU and Iowa had, so many people are in, and the 2-star players are in the WNBA. I've never heard anybody talk about the WNBA, but the kids that intern for me, that they talk about it now. And I think that it would be a great time for Alabama to go out and get a top-notch, maybe a former women's basketball player from the WNBA, someone that could recruit the 4- and 5-star players just like Nate Oates, and start taking women's basketball seriously again.
How in the hell are we talking about women's basketball right now?
Because if we get a new arena, you don't want to waste those dates.
Mark Sears just committed back to the team, and we're talking women's basketball.
All right, bring it back up one more time.
Bring it back, baby. Reel that baby back in.
All right.
No, Mick. It's been fun. This is great news. I know you're on location. You got some baseball to do. I've got to rest my finger where I've been hitting the refresh button. Maybe I'll go take a nap back here or something. I don't know.
I do love women's basketball. I love winning, man. I mean, look at softball in the World Series and Bama and baseball. I mean, I don't know what they're going to do. if they're going to really, make a run in Tallahassee. But I think they have a chance, certainly. I mean, the SEC is so good this year. And I honestly, I think it was a good thing that they got knocked out of the SEC tournament fast. Women's basketball making the NCAA tournament one out of every decade. It's like 1 year out of every decade. It's the one sport where it's like we just forget that we care about winning at Alabama, So yeah. That's why I bring it up, but I don't know. Roll Tide, everybody.
Roll Tide, Mick. Roll Tide, Mick.
Daniel Moore's Elmo. All right.
Thank you.
Anything else before we get off here?
See you at 5 a.m., my friend.
All right. We'll talk to you guys in the morning. Roll Tide, everybody. Sears is back. Let me put that back. Boom.
Boom, baby. Roll Tide, everybody.